What's happening, guys? This is Mike's Total Dragon Channel, and I just finished Tom King's 6-issue miniseries, Black Canary, Best of the Best. This series wrapped up last month. Issue 6 came out last month. I wait until all my miniseries are finished to read them in one sitting. I can read them to completion right then. I don't have to wait. It's kind of like having a trade. It's probably not something for everyone, but it's just kind of a thing that I got in the habit of doing. And anyway, I really enjoyed this 6-issue miniseries. Tom King is the writer. Ryan Sook is the artist on it. And I really feel like this miniseries came out of nowhere. Black Canary is not she is a long time member of the DC universe and a member of the various incarnations of the Justice League. So she's someone that has she has a lot of ties to the DC universe, but however, when you think of the DC universe, Black Canary is not someone that pops up, as far as who you think about. But she still has a lot of history, like I said, with the Justice League, the Justice Society, Green Arrow. But like I said, to have a 6-issue miniseries with Black Canary in 2025, it kind of came out of nowhere. And I really am kind of shocked about how much I enjoyed this miniseries. I'm not going to give too much away about it because I really think it would be best if you went into it not knowing anything but about the basic details of it. I have to say I really enjoyed it, and I'll open this issue, and I'm not going to open up a whole bunch of it, but because there is some spoiler stuff in here. But basically what the gist of it is we see Black Canary, as we see right here in the very first page. She is in a martial arts tournament, and she is going one-on-one against Lady Shiva. And we have really beautiful art right here. This is one of my favorite shots, or one of my favorite pieces by Ryan Sook here. He has a very it's a very realistic style. Here Black Canary, she is not very over proportionated like you see other superheroes. She's very much drawn as a very in shape type of she's drawn as like a very in shape type of woman right here, a very lean build, but definitely you can see in her arms and her shoulders the definition that Ryan Sook puts in there. So this story right here, and I'll get into some of the things I like most about it in the storytelling, is we have a lot of the narration here is from the fight commentators of this match. And so they're doing the commentary here while we see the action that's in the panels. Is kind of like a flashback type stuff. So it's very interesting storytelling in that they give us current dialogue mixed in with flashback art. So basically this is kind of like a training montage. We see in the first issue, Black Canary visits her mother, who's the original Black Canary, and she basically is wanting her to train her for this upcoming fight with Lady Shiva we see here. So, and then we have these two guys right here. These two guys are the commentators. These are the ones who are calling all the action. If you've watched any sort of professional wrestling match or a boxing match, you kind of got the idea of what the vibe is with these guys. You've got one guy who's kind of like, this guy right here is kind of like he's like a kind of almost like a hype man, like oh my gosh, Howard Cosell. And then you've got the other guy right here who was kind of like the former of a fighter who gives all the kind of like his insights into the stuff. Their positions are kind of interchangeable. But if you've ever, like I said, if you've ever watched like professional wrestling, a good old JR and the King, Jerry Lawler, this type of deal right here, or if you watch boxing with, whoever the commentators are, or UFC, it's the same type of vibe. And really, what's most powerful about this is, obviously you have all the art, you have all the fighting scenes and the competition, but really the story is about a mother and daughter. At the gist of all of it, the story is about the relationship between a mother and a daughter and everything they've been through. If you don't know, Black Canary's mother was the original Black Canary. So the current Black Canary is basically like a legacy hero. And the whole fight is kind of a reflection of their relationship. We see their relationship being brought up throughout this 6-issue mini. Each issue is a round in the fight. The fight is a 6-round fight, and each issue takes place within, it's 6 rounds back to back to back to back to back, and each issue is 1 round. And the fight is, as we see, it is televised. It's like basically a pay-per-view type deal. And this is one of my favorite shots from it, where you have all the members of the Justice League sitting around watching it. This was one of the early promo images I saw, and this promo image alone of everybody here having ordered the fight is what kind of got me wanting to read it. I feel like that's Hawkman, that's Hawkgirl. Those were the only 2 I was kind of confused about initially. Obviously, that's the Atom. Then you've got Vixen right here. Aquaman and Mira here in the back. But it is, like I said, if I just sat here and read all this in one shot, and it was a joy to read. I felt like it was some of Tom King's best work. He writes so many different books that, it's kind of hard to, I don't want to turn that page. I'll just give away some stuff. He writes so much stuff out there that, it's not all of it could be great, and some of it kind of falls a little bit. But plus he's very much a polarizing figure amongst comic book social media, but I feel like he does a very, very successful job in capturing the relationship between mother and daughter right here. The complexities it comes with having a mom who's a superhero. Being Black Canary in a world of superheroes, there's plenty of action intersped with it, See, like I say, like I was, one of the things I was talking about is we have the action scenes here are flashbacks, while the dialogue or the bubbles right here are the commentators, which I think that's a really, I really enjoyed that storytelling technique. But you have a lot of cameos in this book as well. Batman, Wildcat, of course, Oliver Queen, Green Arrow shows up. But I would very much. This is a mini series. I could see myself buying this hardcover when it comes out, just because I would like to get this signed by Tom King and Ryan Sook if I ever run into him on the con circuit. But if you're someone who is a fan of Tom King and this one snuck by you, I would very much recommend it. If you're someone who is not a fan of Tom King, I would say give it a try, because this this would be something that I would recommend to any person who is, whether they're a comic book fan or not. I would recommend this to them because it's a very strong story. There's a lot of themes of, like I said, mother-daughter relationship. If you are someone who has ever competed in any sort of sport, or if you've ever done any sort of physical event, like, you know, a 5K, a 10K, or, you know, anything like that, there will be themes in here, things that will stand out to you. Things like competition, quitting, surrendering, you know, pushing through adversity. All of that is in here. It's just a very, really cool miniseries. It was a pleasant surprise. And like I said, give this book a shot. All 6 issues are out right now. I'm sure the trade will be coming out soon at some point. So if you can't track all 6 issues down, pick it up. But Tom King really manages to tell a really good, powerful story right here. And I think if you're someone who has not been a fan of Tom King and you've been critical of his work, you know, this right here might be some of you know, a 6-issue mini that might change your mind about him. Give it a shot. I think it's some of the best stuff we've seen from him. This might be one of my favorite things that he's done since maybe the Human Target miniseries from last year or 2 years ago, whenever that came out. So, Black Canary, best of the best. Very strongly recommend checking it out. So till next time, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.